Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of Cape Rugby TV. It is Wednesday night, of course, nice to have you along. And the usual panel of convicts is on the show with me tonight, starting with the man who has trimmed his hair specifically for the convict fashion parade, Morgan Newman.
How's it, JP? I don't know if I have much hair to trim, but yeah, good to be back at the show.
But we know you comb your hair with a hanky.
Yeah, I do. I actually use my mother's curler.
Yeah. All right, listen, let's not talk about your mother on the show. Paul Delport.
Hi, James. How you doing?
I'm good. What's with the little goatee there?
Just didn't feel like shaving.
Didn't feel like shaving.
Going for a new look. The Rock, half Morgan Newman. I don't quite know.
All right.
You never look like me.
You went to English school though, eh?
I did, yes. As you can hear.
Yes, as I can hear. Speaking about schools, you and Ishma Dollie went to the same school.
Hi, James. Yes, we did, unfortunately or fortunately. Paul's obviously rocking the married look at the moment.
He is rocking the married look, yeah. You see how the guys, they hate that. They hate that publicity after the fact. Like, don't tell anybody, spoil all my chances in the future, can't go out anymore. All right, coming up in the show tonight, we'll take a look at what's happening in the world of club rugby. We're, of course, now into the third round. I know a lot of people were out on their Easter break, but nevertheless, club rugby continued, and we'll try and give you the most accurate scores that we possibly can. Luckily, a lot of people sent their scores in via Twitter and Facebook, so you have to bear with us because it looks like some of the clubs have still not updated their scores on the scrummage system, and some clubs who did put in their scores, it looks like they put them in incorrectly. So we're going to kind of walk our way through the scores and results today, and we're definitely going to look at some of the statistics in the world of club rugby as well. Of course, Morgan Newman went out over the weekend to go and watch NNK against UCT. I took a break, which I think was my first break in 4 years. Morgs, you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, I haven't held the mic for a long time. You know, I'm usually you the one, you're in the hot seat. But yeah, it was good. It was nice to be out there and watch some good rugby. Actually, UCT ran the ball quite nicely, and the NNK almost came back. So yeah, good game of rugby.
So they were giving NNK a bit of a hard time in the beginning, and you said NNK bounced back in the second half. Yeah,
look, I mean, the halftime score was 45 points or something, and I really thought, I tweeted about it saying I think it was going to be a runaway victory for UCT, and then, after halftime, I think the coach of NNK had some harsh words with the boys, and yeah, they came out and scored 3 quick tries, and had UCT worried, but in the end, obviously, UCT's class showed, and they won quite handsomely.
Let's quickly take a look at some of the other results there in the Super League A. Of course, as you see it there, UCT 59 points to 28 over NNK. Primrose drawing with Vix over the weekend, 35 all. Kells River going down to False Bay, 47 points to 10. Belleville and Belhar, that was a close call, 25-20. And then Marty's 31-11 over SK Warmers. Now, that's our first score that we're not absolutely sure about. That score there, 31-11 with Marty's over SK Warmers. We'll have to keep the scores flowing on Facebook and Twitter, folks, so we can get you those results nice and accurate. And remember, please update the scores on the scrummage system. Otherwise, we quite simply can't give you that publicity. But as we heard from Morgan Newman, he went out to watch NNK against UCT. NNK, of course, had home ground advantage, and we managed to catch some of the highlights there. See what happened. So there you go. A good win there for UCT. But Morgs, you say that they bounced back NNK, because it certainly looked like the guys were putting on some heat there.
Yeah, no, look, I mean, I must say, to score 45 points in one half, you've really got to be extremely poor, especially considering that NNK, look, the wind was a little bit of a factor, but I mean, considering that to score 45 points and only get to 58 or whatever it was in the end, it meant that they really put in a good second half performance.
Morgs, how many guys that played Varsity Cup played in this particular game?
Yeah, look, I think there were quite a lot of familiar faces, to be honest. A lot of guys, I think 1 or 2 I saw positional changes. So I know the fullback, I'm not too sure what his name is, but I know the fullback started at fly because Dean Grant was also there on the day. I had a chat to him. He had a shoulder operation, so he's going to be out for about 6 months. So yeah, I mean, look, there's positional changes and stuff like that. But in essence, Kevin has kept quite a massive core group of players there that is taking continuity from the Varsity Cup and taking it into the league, which is good to see. So I think UCT are going to definitely be a force to be reckoned with when it comes to league honours this year.
That's pretty early to call it, eh?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, the UCT they've got depth. They're varsity, so they don't struggle to get players. And I mean, you see Stellenbosch and all these varsities. They always, later into the season, that's where they pick up the results.
But they've got to play against the Harde Barde of Hamiltons and.
Yeah, we're waiting for them, so we'll see what happens.
All right, let's bring the focus back here. Sounds like these 3 guys are going to head for the bar afterwards. Well, maybe not you, Ish. All right, we also managed to catch up with the NNK losing captain and coach. Of course, NNK's Frikkie Coetzee, the coach there, and Marnitz Pfister, the captain.
All right, folks, I'm standing with Frikkie Coetzee, the coach of NNK. Coach, how do you feel about your team's performance today?
I think we were a bit disappointing defensively, but ball in hand, I was happy. I think its second half effort was good.
Yeah, the boys obviously scored a lot of tries in the second half. You had some harsh words with the boys at halftime?
Yeah, we had a few hard words at halftime to make sure that we look after the ball a little bit better. We knew if we can get some ball, we could score tries. And yeah, at the end of the day, we got a bonus point. That's more than we bargained for at the end of the day.
Obviously, obviously coming back from, coming up a division, you guys have, playing against teams like UCT. How do you feel you're looking forward to the rest of the season? What are your feelings towards the rest of the season?
Well, it's been tough. It's a tough start for us. I think the guys realise now that the pace of the game is a lot quicker than they were used to in the Super B League. But we're confident that we will be able to make it and stick it out till the end of the season. Stay up in the Super League and then build from there.
Good luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks very much.
Cool.
All right.
Cheers. All right, folks, I've now got the captain of NNK, Marnitz Pfister. Marnitz, tough conditions to play against UCT?
Ja, dit is 'n bietjie moeilik vir ons gewees. Soos ek sê, ons het hierdie jaar eers opgekom in die liga en ek dink van die ouens wat nog nie Super A gespeel het hier, so dit is 'n groot step up, maar ek dink definitief 'n drastiese verbetering van ons vorige wedstryd en definitief 'n game van 2 helftes.
Yeah, you guys came out and scored some good tries in the second half. What was said at halftime?
Ja, die coach het 'n bietjie hard gepraat. Ek gaan nou nie sy woorde herhaal nie, maar ja, ek dink soos 'n belangrike ding wat ons gesien het is dat die oomblik as ons bal kan behou, kan ons drie druk en ek dink ons ouens glo dit. Eerste helft dink ek grootendeels was 'n bietjie verdediging wat ons bietjie in die steek gelaat het en toe moet ons begin 'n catch-up speel.
And you looking forward to the rest of the season?
Baie beslis ja. So ons kan nie wag nie. Daar's nog 'n paar groot games vir ons voor lê, maar ons is reg vir die challenge en ons gaan alles gee. Ons wil in die liga bly. So ons wil nie weer drop.
Good luck for the rest of the season. Cool.
Marnitz Pfister there giving his words of wisdom. Ish, how do you bounce back when you're 45-5 or whatever the halftime score was down? How do you bounce back and bring it back to I can't remember what the score was there, but clearly the NK made a big comeback.
I think it's probably just important that the coach probably had a few harsh words and just to put that score behind them and start off as 0-0. Not very easy to say, very difficult to implement, but I think they can only take it forward from there. The 3 tries that they scored, as Morg said, in the second half, the fact that they ended the game on a higher note than the way they started is a positive.
Okay, I'm not understanding this, how harsh words fix anything. We keep hearing that. We keep hearing that in rugby. I don't know. Paulie, you tell me, in the world of rugby, what is it that you need to do that at half-time brings the team back into the picture?
Actually, it's tough. Often maybe there weren't even harsh words said. It was just kind of reminding the guys where they can step up on, where they're missing out on opportunities, where they need to to
Okay, but
just
that's a-
identify things.
That's in a case where you've got players with common sense and they're calm, they understand the game plan, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
in a high pitch voice.
In a high-pitched voice. so I'm understanding that possibly one needs to be in a situation, if you're going to use harsh words, because maybe your players haven't switched on yet in the game. They're not giving 100% effort, or maybe they're scared. Now you need to lift them. You need to lift that emotion. But that's not a game plan scenario, because you can scream and shout as a player as much as you want, but it's not going to make him remember a drill or a move.
Very true, and it is tough. Some guys will respond well to it. Other guys will then go further into their shell. So it's
Yeah.
difficult to find the
Yeah.
to find the medium. But yeah, I don't know what the NNK coach said, but
What do you do, Ish?
it seemed to have worked.
Well, it's like you said, you got to remind them of the processes, what you've trained, and you've got to implement what you've trained. Obviously, with a score of 45-0 down,
Yeah.
they're not doing what they were supposed to be doing. So by maybe saying it in a high-pitched voice, with a little bit more aggression, you'd hope that would sink in.
Just to add to that, I think what seemed to me like looking from the side of the field was it seemed like what the coach was reminding these guys are that they're playing against 15 other sort of also human beings that are not, because in the first half NK were extremely shell-shocked. They didn't want to pass the ball. They took contact at every move. Second half they came out. All of a sudden there was a little bit of confidence in the guys. They started throwing the pass and they started playing UCT at their own game, gave the ball a little bit of air, and all of a sudden, I mean, the winger, Burton, who's played for the Cape Rugby TV Sevens team, scored a great try through the middle, stepped a few guys, and all of a sudden when NNK seemed to gain a little bit of confidence and passed the ball around, UCT were in a little bit of trouble. So it's interesting to see that initially, I think, having seen the Varsity Cup and all these guys and seen them all play there, I think they were a little bit shell-shocked, but when they realized they can actually take these guys on at their own game, we saw a different NK side. So
do you think there's a little bit of the story of, the Varsity Cup legacy coming onto the field?
yeah, 100%. I mean, the Varsity Cup has created a platform with these guys. We've heroed these guys. We see them on TV every Monday night.
For good reason.
Yeah, and now all of a sudden you're playing opposite this guy. You're thinking to yourself, there's no way you can try something that you would naturally try against somebody else.
Yeah.
But when in the second half, when they realized passing the ball and stepping and running at these guys, they're also just human.
So we were talking about this actually on the I think we were talking about this in last shows, that how many players will get at the game and they don't realize they're playing rugby until about 5 or 10 minutes into the game. I mean, this is a boxing ring, you'd be finished. You're going to need to fight from the first punch. But on the rugby field, we seem to go, okay, well, let's just kind of warm into it, and then about 5-10 minutes later, now we're playing rugby. Whereas you need to be hitting it the first move from the first minute, Paulie.
Yeah, absolutely, Jeff. I mean, if you don't, you find yourself 40 points down at half time, like Morg said. And interestingly enough, Ish mentioned it, kind of a complete flip around. Primrose up by 30 points against Vix at half time, and Vix coming back. So you kind of looked at it here, and it was more the underdog that took a beating in the first half and then came back.
Yeah.
Whereas Vix and Primrose was completely the other way around. Primrose, the new guys in the league, all of a sudden making a big statement, and then Vix coming back. Obviously, I don't know what the Vix side looks like, but again,
this
like
would,
Morgie says,
of course, also would have been the first time that Vix has played against Primrose.
Yes.
So I've got no idea what they're up
exactly.
against.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of Super League A clubs from before. Also, the other side of the fence clubs. Those clubs are not real clubs. We're Super League A, we're the top 10, we're the holy grail of rugby. And I wake up and hang on, there's 90 other clubs out there who also play rugby. I don't know.
Yeah. Definitely, and as Paul alluded to the point, I've heard some comments about the Primrose Vix game. Primrose obviously has a very devastating backline and not such a very big pack. And all that Vix did was they took them up front in the second half and just started picking and driving and using their big forwards to get over that vantage line. And to their avail, they ended up in a draw. 3 points instead of none.
I'll tell you something, Primrose, as I've said before, Primrose is a team to be watched in Super League A this year. We also caught up there with the winning captain and coach, of course, from UCT. Kevin Musicant, who was on the show with us last week, and Varsity Cup winning coach he is, as well as Mike Buerta, the captain of UCT on the day. And I believe he also walked away with the Evox Advanced Nutrition Man of the Match prize. Let's hear what they have to say.
All right, folks, I'm standing here with the very happy Kevin Musicant. Kevin, happy with your team's performance?
It was very good, lots and lots of tries, maybe a little bit still that hangover from Varsity Cup with the guys sort of losing a bit of focus at parts, but no one can argue with 90 points in a rugby match.
Looking forward to the rest of the competition or the league?
Absolutely, some good rugby and some good clubs that have come through from the Super B, and it's the Super 15 format. I think is going to work.
And any standout players that you can mention today?
What was nice to see was Sean McDonald, who was the player that rocked in the Varsity Cup, stepping up and playing 2 good games, one against Tygerberg and today against Para. And also Mikey Boerter was the man of the match, also played well and led the team well.
Thanks so much, Kev.
Cool.
I'm now standing with Mike Boerter, the captain of UCT. Mike, happy with your team's performance?
Yeah, it was alright. We bit rusty still from Varsity Cup, but the boys put in a good effort in the first half and managed to pull through in the second.
Obviously tough conditions with the wind. It was a game of 2 halves. How do you feel you guys played in the second half?
After we became uncontested scrums, it was a bit difficult because we were winning all their ball, but the boys pulled together and played some nice running rugby, which everyone enjoys.
And what big games can you look forward to for the rest of the season?
I think, you know, the normal traditional rivals, Marties, Hammies, Durbal, those guys, it's always nice to look forward to playing them. And hopefully we can put one over them this season and come on tops.
Mike is also our Evox man of the match, and Mikey wins for himself a Evox 5 kilogram solid mass. Mikey, congratulations, that's for you. You just show the camera there. Mikey, you're obviously a man of the match too. Happy with your performance today?
Still a bit rusty, but quite happy with it. Hopefully have a few beers afterwards and enjoy with the boys.
And boys, looking forward to obviously a tough league, and you know NNK have just come up now. How do you feel NNK performed today?
They performed well in patches. I think it's always difficult coming up from a B to A league, but I think they will do well the rest of the season, and I wish them well.
Well, Mikey, congratulations. Mikey is our Evox man of the match, and he wins for himself a solid match. Congratulations, Mike.
Cheers, thanks very much.
Go ahead.
So yeah, no, well done there to the guys and at UCT, and Mike Boerter walking away there with the Evox Advanced Nutrition Solid Mass. Remember, you can win for yourself the before, during and after hamper a little bit later during the show, so keep your cell phones handy. Morgs, there were a couple of folks out there at the match, Primrose against Vix. Primrose was well in the lead, also let it slide. The feedback we've got so far is that they were playing really great attacking rugby, and then they went to sort of a defensive mode for a little bit.
Yeah, well, obviously, you know, we're playing Vix this weekend, so we had a good close look at the game to see what Primrose did. But yeah, I mean, look, Primrose literally ran everything. And then when they scored 35 points, they realized, okay, cool, they've now scored. They thought they scored enough. It's time to defend, and that's where I think they lost the game. You know, Vix had kicked them into the corners. Primrose ran it back from all corners of the field, and then in the end, I mean, just trying to defend the lead, and that's where they ended up, letting it slip. So,
Paulie, can you say? Sorry, Morgs. Paulie, can you say that attacking rugby is a form of defence?
Absolutely, Jabs. We were chatting about it now, and you just look at the general trend over the last few years of rugby. There's been so much emphasis put on defence that I think we are lacking very much in our attacking play, not just our skills, but I think figuring out ways to break the defense line that's improved so much. I mean, for me, and it's just my personal philosophy of the game, is rugby is very simple. If I'm playing against Morgie's team and his team scores 5 tries, my team will score 6 tries. Pretty simple. No defensive structure, no structure from first phase. You need to know how to unlock a defensive line. Running lines, finding the space, playing to your strengths, and also I think pouncing on the other team's weaknesses. We're struggling with a lot at the moment.
I think we could probably have this conversation ad nauseum, but we hear all the time, you can't win games if you don't have the ball. Okay, so now you get the ball. The point is, if you've got the ball, you're supposed to attack. So surely the concept of the game of rugby is you need the ball in your hand, and if you have the ball in your hand, you're not supposed to just defend the ball. You're supposed to attack with the ball. I don't know. Does the mathematics add up, your Morgs?
Yeah, look, I mean, in a nutshell, that's pretty much, if you've got the ball, go and score the tries. And individual brilliance.
If I'm the scrum off and you're playing at centre and I get the ball to you, and it's wide open, do you just go to the ground and defend the ball?
Yeah, look, I think that's the big problem with where we are going at the moment. Paulie's so right, is the fact that we're coaching so much emphasis on defense that our attack becomes so structured too.
Yeah.
And against a structured attack, a structured defense will work. But a structured defense doesn't work against guys with individual brilliance that do something that is away from the norm.
But isn't that one of the problems that we have, is we coach TV rugby and we forget the fact that in club rugby, the guys only practice twice a week. There's no time for all sorts of defensive and organised structures. It's you get the ball in your hand and you just run for the line.
Yeah, look, I mean,
find a gap.
But the tries that Primrose scored, I can tell you right now that all the tries that they scored were not from what they trained in the rugby field. That was broken play, give a man a ball and you just do your magic.
Ish.
I think attack is all about feeling.
Yeah.
You know, you can give them a sort of a structure to work within, but if it's on wide and the structure says go short, are you still going to go short or are you going to go wide? I mean, the feeling is to go wide, so play what you see in front of you.
Yeah.
I think we get sort of boxed in, and we sort of box players in.
Do you think we get scared?
Yes, I think so too, and sometimes that fear, especially from certain coaches, can filter down into the players, and that fear of failure, we just got to let go of. It's not that easy.
Yeah. Guys, run the ball. Play Western Province attacking rugby. Run the ball, especially fast. I've always maintained, give me a good scrum half who will find the gaps and I'll win any rugby game out there. Any malerige skramskakel wat soos 'n stuk seep in die bad is. Jy weet waar hy is, maar jy kan hom in die hande kry nie, mense. Let's take a look now at the results in Super League B. And another set of interesting results there as Hamlets went down to Silurians. Silurians, very strong team this year, 27-9. Goodwood losing to St. George's. St. George's also come out strong and they've surprised a lot of people. Macassar drawing with Milnerton, 14 all over the weekend. And Collegians losing to Brackenfell, 16-14. And Rangers drawing with Pernille Villages. I'm not confident of all of those scores there. Let's go first to the right, to the horse's mouth, so to speak. Ish, Milnerton, Macassar, draw 14-all?
Yeah.
Score's right.
Score is 100%
Score's
correct.
spot on. Okay, well done. You guys put that into the scrummage system.
No, Lean's on the ball.
No, Lean Westhuizen on the ball. Incidentally, I've got to talk about one of your players, Lady Blow, who's playing a 50th game this year. Okay, anyway, Milnerton, Macassar. Macassar's not a weak side.
Not at all, especially at home. And we've beaten them in the pre-season friendlies.
Yeah.
And they told us on the day that this is a totally different side. I think our guys probably underestimated the fact that we gave them 40 in a pre-season game and thought we could just rock up and win.
Yeah.
Not to be so. They're a very good side and very hard to beat at the home ground. But in saying that, I think our guys were very poor.
Yeah.
Very, very poor.
Harsh words, half-time. That's the way to go. Harsh words at half-time, play more attacking rugby. Okay, we do it all here on Cape Rugby TV. If you want that lesson again, remember the repeat is on at 9 o'clock on Saturday. All right, we'll take a look at the results in Super League C in a minute. We'll take an ad break, and when we come back, we'll take a look here and see what else is happening, or at least did happen over the weekend. Back in a sec. Welcome back. Yes, Cape Rugby TV. Just remember, you can find us on Facebook, www.facebook.com/Cape Rugby TV, and we want you to vote there. We're starting some new vote polls on the Facebook page. We want you to tell us which games you like to go to, which leagues you want to watch, and we'll ask your opinion on various other matters on Facebook. So look out for the Facebook polls on Cape Rugby TV's Facebook page. All right, so in the City League then, it was Young Ideas against Caledonians, no result there. Watsonia against Young Stars, no result there. Busy Bees, 50 points to 3 against Perseverance, and Police losing to Hamadias, 18 points to 5. While in the Northern League, it was Kylemore 23-20 against Kailicha. And then, of course, Masiphumelele, 64 points to 5 over Bishop Lavis, and Young Wesley's 20 points to 7 over Thistle. Let's quickly take a look at the logs in Super League A. It's Stellenbosch on the top, and Vix and UCT in the third place. In Super League B, Silurians, Villages, and St. George's. They make up your top 3, and then also in fourth place is Brackenfell. In Super League C, it's Wraithby, Stelcor, and Violets in the top 3, while in the City League, it's Hamadias, Young Stars, Temperance Cities are in third place. In the Northern League, it's Blue Jets, Imikawi, and Kylemore. And in the Southern League, Masiphumelele, Rocklands, Young Brothers, and Young Wesleys are in the top. In the Paarl region, it's Lower Paarl, Vineyards, and Riverstones in the top 3. And then, of course, from next week onwards, we'll start taking a look at the Farm League. That'll be one of the highlights of the season as we take a look at the progression in the Farm League. As we did last week, we took a look at some of the statistics in club rugby at the moment. Now, these are drawn out of the scrummage system and come from the logs, points for, points against. Now, what's interesting to see, and I think from this we can start gauging which of the teams are going to do well during the season, who's a threat, who's going to struggle later in the season, because statistics really can tell you quite a lot of stories. So let's first look at the top try-scoring teams. Now, this is all the first teams. Okay, so the top team try-scoring teams, at least in the first teams, is Paarl, Lower Paarl League. They're there with 37 tries so far this season. And then Masipumalelo are in second place, Stellenbosch, UCT, and Villages. Okay, so let's take this now off air, or at least back to the panel here. We know that Lower Paarl played against Parel United. They gave them something like 130 points to, I think, 5. So they got a lot of points there. But if we look at some of the other teams here that are already starting to show their colours, Masipumalelo have scored 22 tries this season already in 3 games-ish. That's an average of 7 tries per game. Marties have come out already in the season playing in Super League A. They've scored 19 tries in 3 games. That's average of 6 games. So we're getting a feel for the teams. And if you look at the statistics in this way, I don't know if you guys have looked at it from this perspective yet.
That's an interesting point of view. It obviously gives you an idea of who these guys are, quite attacking teams, and they score tries.
Yeah.
So defensively, you've got to be on the ball. But
So, yeah.
at the same time, you've got to turn that defense into attack. And you've got to turn that ball over and make sure that they don't score their tries.
All right, well, we're going to take a look at the teams that are not doing too well there. But, Morgs, it was also interesting to note there the other teams, UCT, Villages, and Solarians on in the top spot there, with Villages having scored 7 tries. And they've only played 2 games, 17 tries, and they've only played 2 games this season. So that puts them on an average of 8 tries per game. Villages, the team that was falling apart, are now scoring 8 tries in a game.
No, look, I mean, they're making people stand up and take note, I think, you know, to score. So, what is it, it's 18 or whatever, 16 tries in 2 games, and you're seriously running the ball wide. So, no, look, it's good to see, but I think you got to worry about the teams that they've scored it against. I think that'll be quite interesting to see
well,
too.
We're going to try and take a look at that, but Ish will be happy to know that Milnerton is sitting at 10th place on top tries scored.
Thanks for that, JP.
Okay, now you know it.
do we thank Eddie Jacobs or Ishma Dollie? James?
I don't know. It depends on who the attacking coach is and who shouts most at half-time. Okay, but now, folks, the other interesting fact that we can look at is most tries scored, but also not just the first teams, but now across the board, the second teams, because we've spoken about depth before. Now, you can think about how this league is going to play out, because now it's 15 teams in a league, and if you don't have depth later on the league, you're going to start running into problems, but you only get to play against the other team once in the season. So if we look at all teams there you see Lower Paarl still in first place, but now the second team of Stellenbosch, out of all of the clubs in Western Province, they have scored 23 tries in 3 games. And then Masipumalelo, once again, well, they're the first team. And then Marty's third team, also the highest, and then Helderberg's third team, and then Lower Paarl. So, gents, what we're starting to see here is that there are a number of second teams who are in the top 10 of try-scoring teams. That some of the second teams have scored more tries than the first teams. Now, Paulie, this must be good news for any coach who's worried about having to cycle his first-team players.
Yeah, definitely, Japs. I think often the guys that play in the second and third team aren't maybe given as much scope as the first team guys. So it's important for them to also push the first team guys. For the guys that are playing the first team to realise that they can't rest on their laurels. There are guys playing beneath them who are very hungry to take their place. And again, I think Morgie alluded to it. It's fantastic to see these stats now, but like we said, I think sometimes you need to worry a little bit about who they played against. But first up, I'll be very keen to keep seeing this as the league progresses, Japs, and then we can see the general trend of which teams are staying attacking or which teams maybe falter when they play against a more structured defense and they maybe can't break it. So it'll be interesting, checking this out week by week and seeing which teams stay there and which teams kind of fall out.
Well, let's take a look then at the points. Well, there you see it on the screen right now. It's Paarl that have scored 244 points already in this in the league. Then Stellenbosch and Helderberg's third team with 138 points. So there you go. That gives you a little bit of an indication there. Lower Paarl also doing well. The Lower Paarl side in the first team and the second team have put on points across the board. We know that they've played against some weak sides. Stellenbosch, first team, second team, and third team in the top 10 of most points scored. Villages in the top 10. And then Victorians also in the top 10. And I think the one that jumps out here for me in terms of most points scored is possibly Masipumalelo. They're fifth out of all teams with 136 points already this season. So I think Warren Edwards is once again. Is Warren coaching against you?
I was about to say, I think Warren Edwards, he loved running rugby when he was a fly-off.
Yeah.
So I think he's instilling that in his team right now.
Do you think that kicks through? Ish, you were a fly-off in your day as well.
Yeah, hopefully that philosophy that you installed in your game can maybe filter into the players. But it's just interesting to see those stats. Like Paulie said, it would be more interesting to see in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, all right. Let's take a look now at points against, because this is the other side of the coin. We've looked at the teams now so far that have managed to score a lot of points during the season, and points against. Okay, so struggling a little bit there. Now you're starting to see the flip side of the coin. NNK already have got 167 points against them. We're looking across all teams now, folks. And then Peril United, as we saw earlier on, they took all those points against Lower Paarl. So NNK, 167 points against them so far this season. Peril United, Windmill United, they played against, both those teams played against Lower Paarl. And then SK Warmers, their third team and their second teams are fourth and fifth in the most points against. And UCT, at least UWC, 120 points against them. Okay, so if we analyze that now, it's the flip side of the coin. We were talking about the high scoring points, and there you see who UCT played against over the weekend. They played against NNK, and the history of NNK so far after 3 games is NNK already have 167 points against them. So is this a question of them just switching on in the first 10 minutes, or are they really going to battle this year?
I think they'll, after seeing that second half performance against UCT, I definitely think there's hope. I don't think that it's all doom and gloom for NNK. But for me, the worrying one there is SK Warmers. To see 2 SK Warmers, their name there, their third team and their second team, and they haven't won much games in the league just yet. They're going to be struggling with depth come later in the season, I think.
But
yeah.
in fairness to SK, a lot of guys have left SK, and they're sort of in a rebuilding phase at the moment. So those first team guys that are there, they are sort of quality at the moment, but below that, not much going on.
All right, so again, we spoke about Primrose earlier on. Primrose doing really well. They're drawing their games. They won, I think, by 1 point against Tygerberg in their opening game. I think the score was 22-21. They won it in the dying second with a kick. And if we look here at points against all the teams, Primrose's third team has already got 104 points against them. This means that they, at depth, are going to start struggling. What will happen if Primrose's first team needs a bit of rotation? What do?
Well, they can only call on what they have, and I guess they'll only find out once that injuries or cross fingers that it doesn't happen. So I'm sure they've got a squad in the first team, about 25 to 30 guys that they keep and sort of maintain in that first team squad. But if it goes further than that, they might struggle come the latter part of the season.
Let's take a look now at the first teams only. So the first teams in Super League A with the most points against them: NNK, Peril United, Windmill United, UWC, 120 points against them so far this season. Richmond Rangers, Scottsdene, Van der Stel, Bishop Lavers, Thistle and Young Peoples. Those are the teams with the most points against them. What worries me here, gentlemen, is that if we're looking at high points against for the second team and the third team, and you're worrying about rotating at a later stage, is that are we recruiting enough players? Where is our fourth team, our fifth team, our sixth team, and so on? Somebody told me the other day that Paul Ruiz has got 22 under 19 school teams. Under 19, 22 teams. You know, where's the recruitment? The players must now start. You need the fourth team, the fifth team, the sixth team. Ish, how do you guys get players to your club?
Well, before, when Milnerton played in the lower leagues,
Yeah.
the feeling that I got was that a lot of players did not want to play in the lower leagues. So they used to play for the big clubs such as the Falls Bays, the Hamiltons, the UCTs. Even though they stayed in the Milnerton, Tableview area, they wanted to play in a higher league. The fact that Milnerton is playing now in a Super B league has attracted a vast majority of those players. The important part is to keep them there and sort of attract more of those that are still leaving to play in a higher division. So it comes down to our sort of club philosophy, club culture, as well as not just one person doing the whole recruiting. It's got to be holistic from every single person, from every executive member in the club. And you've got to sort of attract the players towards the club. The grounds, the facilities, the location. These are all appealing factors that can be used as advertising for the club.
Okay, well, we certainly need more players. That's what we need, because you know, life is as rough for the third team coach as it is for the first team coach. Pauline, I think sometimes it's tougher for the third team coach because you keep having to feed up your players to the second team if they need them, or to the first team if they need them.
Oh, absolutely, Japs. I mean, how do you expect the guy to have any bit of consistency and continuity? It's very, very tough. But again, I think Ish pretty much said it. I think, Japs, we have such a rugby culture in the Western Cape, and the only way you can do it is for guys just to get involved. I mean, for all of us that have played club rugby, I think the thing that kept us there was gees.
Well, I was about to ask you, do you think that maybe the third team and the fourth team coach should be more of an expert at creating gees than playing rugby, versus the first team coach who needs to make sure he's winning? I don't know.
Yeah.
You're all nodding.
James, let's be honest. If a guy taking nothing away from the third and fourth team player, but he's not competing for a Stormers contract, the Oak's there to have fun. The Oak's there to maybe escape from work that was a bit stressful this week, or get away from his 3 screaming kids at home over the weekend and have some fun.
Is there something that you're not telling us, Paulie?
Triplets on the way.
Triplets on the way, James. Triplets on the way. But it's true, no. Like you said, James, I think that is a very, very big part of it. I think especially in the lower teams, man management becomes even more important than the actual knowledge that you're imparting on the guys. It's about man management. It's about creating the.
And if you're playing women's rugby, it's about women management.
Women management, of course. Women management.
So it's about
management in general.
Unisex management in rugby. Where are we going with rugby? Life has changed completely.
Is it because the elections are next week? You're very PC.
Yes, I'm very PC, yes. PC, Welcome back. Yes, we're just having a chat off the air there about the skills of a second team and a third team or a fourth team coach. Morgs, you reckon at Hammy's the third team have more fun than the first team?
Yeah, no, look, I think Hammy's for the third team have won the Gees Award for the last, I think, 2 or 3 years in a row. So, look, if I definitely want to play in that team before I hang up my boots. It's definitely a team to be part of, I think.
All right, so we'll see you in the third team next year then. All right, let's take a look at the fixtures coming up of Super League A on the weekend. There were a couple of changes, folks, so we suggest you do verify these. Coming up over the weekend, these could be, some of these fixtures are Friday, some are Saturday. Marty's up against False Bay, Hamilton's take on Vics Belhar, UWC, Tigerberg, Kales River, SK Women's and Belleville, and then it's Primrose up against UCT. I think one of the picks there would be Belhar up against UWC. That's going to be quite a tight one. And then possibly... I don't know. The False Bay Marty's game might be quite a cracker as well. While in Super League B, we see Milnerton up against Villagers. It's going to be a tough game. Kraaifontein and Collegians and Rangers and Macassar. Isha, are you feeling Milnerton up against Villagers? As we just spoke, they're high on the top point scoring, but so are you.
No, well, Villagers is the team to beat at the moment. They put on some big scores, and we're pretty wary about that. So we're looking forward to the challenge.
Are you going to attack from the word go?
I'm not going to give too much away.
I love it. I love it when we have all these expert coaches on the show. All right, in Super League C, we see Strand up against Manenberg. Violets take on Noordluxus. Strand United up against Silverton. Eerste Rivier take on Van der Stel. While in the City League is Police and Busy Bees, Caledonians and Hamadias. That's going to be a cracker of a match at Knoll Avenue. Callies up against Hamadias. 2 derby sides taking each other on there. Young Stars and Progress, Temperance, Young Ideas, Watsonia and Perseverance. While in the Northern League is Blue Jets, Atlantis, Clutiesville, Carlamore, Strand, Pioneers, Delft. Whistling Wheels take on Imikawi and Blue Stars take on All Saints. While in the Southern League is Thistles up against Retreat. Richmond Rangers take on Peninsula. Young Brothers take on Titans. And Bishop Slavis are up against Young Wesleys. All right, so those are your fixtures over the weekend. Now the match that we'll be going to over the weekend, and it's going to be great to get out there, and we expect that you're going to all be out there in your thousands to come and support. Rangers up against Macassar, playing at Surrey. Rangers, Bom Samai and the boys are there. They are really turning it up. And nice to going to see the guys from Macassar again, and we've seen them play. They gave Milnerton a bit of a hard time over the weekend, 14-all. Ish, what do you make of the challenge here, Rangers up against Macassar?
Well, it's going to be interesting because Rangers also drew against Pinnell. So 2 teams vying for that win. It's pretty early stages, but it's going to be tough in Surrey State.
I mean, I know that Rangers have made huge efforts over the last pre-season. They got the guys onto supplements. They've had motivational speakers there. They had Tamir Murat, one of the world's best sales guys out there, giving them a a bit of a chat. Bom Samai's out there. He's helping the guys as well. So, Morgs, I think we're going to see a clash of the titans here, but certainly a different mindset for in the world of club rugby. If we look at the kind of work that a team like Rangers is now putting in before season time.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, Rangers they've always been a team. I mean, we were there last year, and the Rangers, they're definitely a team that think out the box. And yeah, it's going to be, they've taken, I think they see rugby outside the 4 white lines, which is nice to see. And yeah, I mean, hopefully they can take the same performances or the same sort of attitude they have away from rugby and bring it to the field on Saturday. It'll be good to see.
I think it's going to be an absolute cracker. I think, with that kind of gears, when the community starts to know that there's all this extra effort happening behind the scenes, everybody wants to come out on Saturday and see what's happening. So I think that's going to be a really good one. We'll take an ad break, and when we come back, we'll speak to Captain Courageous Paul Delport himself about what's happening in the world of sevens. And then we'll touch on a Super 15. Don't forget, you can win yourself the before, the during, and the after Evox hamper. Just keep your cell phones handy. The number is 33280. That's where you need to SMS to. We'll be back with you after the break. So Rangers, it is this weekend, and I don't think that this time we're going to be having that chat about what kind of bread it is. Is it naan bread? Is it roti? Is it a pannenkoek? Whatever goes in there. But that was the world's best chicken curry that I've ever had. All right, sir. And I loved the fact that it was just in pots and pots, and everybody could come and eat. It was really world class. I loved it. So we're looking forward to go and watch Rangers up against Macassar. That's this coming Saturday. All right, the sevens have been taking place. Paulie, South Africa, Portugal coming up this weekend, and of course South Africa, they got Samoa and New Zealand, South Africa. What do you make of it?
Oh, big pool, Japs. Very important tournament for us. Going into these last 2 legs, trailing New Zealand by 7 points. Unfortunately, missing Kyle Brown and Sissel. Africa, they didn't end up being fit enough for this trip. Luckily, we got Chris Dry back, and I think fantastic for Mark Richards to be back in the side. He's had a horrible run of injuries the last 2 years, so very, very happy for him to be back. But Jabs, an opportunity for us. Hell of a tough pool. Portugal are always, they're one of the teams that have really improved a lot.
Yeah.
Samoa haven't been good all season, but you never know with them. They could arrive this tournament and decide they want to win, and make it very difficult. And then in New Zealand, we can see it one of 2 ways. We can beat them in the final pool game and hopefully give them a really difficult quarterfinal, or even if Samoa step up to the plate, maybe send them into the bowl, and then maybe make London very, very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, that was the last time you played them, was just in the finals.
Yes, yeah, that was it. I'm trying to think. The last time we played New Zealand was
I think the Dubai Sevens.
I think it was the Wellington Sevens.
The Wellington Sevens.
We ended up losing to them in the final after beating Fiji. And yeah, we've managed to avoid each other the last couple of tournaments, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah. All right, let's take a look at the Vodacom Cup results now. SVD Eagles 23-14 over DHL Western Province. Didn't go Province's way, and then of course it was in the quarterfinals at least coming up this weekend. It is the Pumas up against DHL Western Province playing in Nelspruit. That is on Saturday at 4:45, so check that out. In Super 15, hasn't been going the way of the Stormers, but some very interesting other results. They didn't go the way of the Sharks either over the weekend. Maybe a little bit too confident. Blues beating the Waratahs 21-13. The Brumbies 41-23 over the Chiefs. The Sharks going down the Highlanders 34 points to 18, as I said. And the Hurricanes beating the Reds 35-21. The Force 15 points to 9 over the Bulls. And the Cheetahs, well, they managed to pull one off over the Stormers 35 points to 22. Now, there were a couple of surprise results there. I think the biggest one, Morgs, was probably the Sharks going down to the Highlanders.
I would have said the Cheetah Stormers.
Well, you had that pick right last week, didn't you?
No, look, yeah, big. My Super Brew was all over the place.
I know.
Yet I still climbed 4 places. So let me say, I'm sure everybody else was to be a lot worse.
That's
than
my
me.
point exactly. Is I think that the main bunch, everybody was just having a disaster. There were so many surprises. I really expected the Waratahs to beat the Blues.
No, massive weekend of upsets. So hopefully I can.
And the Chiefs, who, the Brumbies have been all over the show, and then you would. But I suppose one never remembers the cycle. There has to be a dip in the cycle somewhere.
No, it's true, and yeah, I mean, you guys have said it. I've actually pulled out of Super Brew 2 weeks ago already because there's no point anymore. I called it in my mind this week and I got everything wrong.
Yeah.
Like you said, Jabs, I couldn't believe, and the manner that the Brumbies beat the Chiefs, I couldn't believe it. It's 40 points.
Yeah.
And then again, like you said, the Sharks going down Stormers going down.
But again, just across the board, we were seeing bad handling skills, we were seeing endless kicking. What is this with this kicking? Why do people always do this? I mean, didn't we have this conversation 1,000 times already? You can't do anything if you kick the ball away. And if you kick the ball away, you never know what could happen next. The ball is not round. It doesn't land on a certain spot. You don't know if you're going to catch it. This percentage game nonsense of kicking the ball away, even if you're in your own dead ball area, you still have a choice to make. Can I keep the ball, in which case I've still got the ball, or do I kick it away and I don't actually know what's going to happen next?
Yeah, that's it. And at the moment, just talking about South African sides, there's only one team that could play a kicking game, and Ish will probably agree with me, he was a fluff. The only guy who's pinpoint enough at the moment is old Marnus Boshoff. That's it. Our other guys are not, in terms of kicking, we're not controlling the game. So there's no point in playing the percentage rugby anymore, because it's not accurate enough. So we're not able to put the balls into the corner, put the other teams under pressure, get a penalty, kick the 3 points and go back. Now it's becoming a ping-pong battle, like you said. If we're not getting in the right area, you kick it to someone like Mills Muliaina or to Quade Cooper, and they're going to run back and they're going to attack you all day.
Yeah.
And you're going to defend and you're going to end up conceding points.
And you're hoping that they might kick it back to you.
That's it.
And because if they don't, they're going to run onto you.
Definitely.
And if they gain, I don't know, it's just the same story again. Yeah, so not going the way for the Stormers at the moment either. Cheetahs certainly came out there guns blazing and were not going to take second place. All right, folks, Evox Advanced Nutrition is the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. So now if you want to win for yourself, and we've shown you this pack 1,000 times, Cyto Crank, that's the before product, okay? So this is what you use before training. And then the Super Carbo, this is what you use during training. And then the Rapid Recovery, which you use before, at least after training, after gym, after a marathon. Doesn't matter whether you're cycling, whether you're running, it's the Rapid Recovery. Evox Advanced Nutrition is the official sports nutrition supplier to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. Available to all club rugby players. All right, just get hold of Evox. Go to the front page of the Club Rugby website or go on the Cape Rugby site and find us. All right, your coach will tell you that as a Club Rugby player, you're entitled to factory prices and sponsorship rate on Evox products. Okay, let's take a look at last week's winner, and congratulations there to Miriam Jakut. I wonder if that's MJ Jakut from Silvertree. Congratulations, Miriam. You win for yourself the Evox hamper, the before, the during, and the after pack. Right, so if you want to win for yourself the packet of Evox products, as well as a set of double tickets to go and watch the Stormers play at Newlands over the weekend. 33280, you win for yourself the hamper, and you win for yourself the set of double tickets to go and watch the Stormers at Newlands over the weekend. Let's take a look now at the South African, or at least the fixtures coming up, and we'll do our Super Brew at the same time. It's the Blues and the Reds who are up against each other in Auckland. It's the Rebels and the Sharks in Melbourne, the Crusaders and the Brumbies, the Chiefs, the Lions, the Waratahs, the Hurricanes. The Stormers take on the Highlanders at Newlands. And remember, you can win those tickets for that match. And then the Bulls and the Cheetahs. All right, Morgan Newman, we'll start with you. The Blues and the Reds.
Reds, 5.
Polly. Oh, you don't do Super Brew anymore. Would you like to give it a go?
Can I just say the Reds? I don't want to
just say the Reds then. Ish.
Reds.
You're going to go with the Reds. I'm going to go with the Blues by 5. The Rebels take on the Sharks. The Sharks are playing away. They're going to be looking to bounce back. I certainly don't think that was a true reflection of what the Sharks can do. They've got Jake White with them as well. I'm going to go with the Sharks by 5 over the Rebels. Morgs.
Sharks, 7.
Sharks.
Rebels, 5.
Rebels 5. Crusaders take on the Brumbies. And I just don't honestly think that the Brumbies can do what they did again last week. But the Crusaders have had a shocking run this far. But I'm going to go with the Crusaders. I'm going to go with the Crusaders by 5 against the Brumbies. Morgs.
Brumbies by 3.
Paulie.
It's the one I'm sure about, Brumbies.
Brumbies, 5.
All right, I suppose I'll make it a hiding on that one. The Chiefs take on the Lions in Hamilton. So the Lions are travelling. The Chiefs come off a strong win already, or at least they took a hiding against the Brumbies. So this is another difficult call here, but I just don't see the Lions being strong enough to take on the Chiefs. The Chiefs will be looking to fix up, and will look to fix up their mistakes over the weekend very quickly. I'm going to go with the Chiefs by 12. Morgs.
Chiefs by 10.
I'll go the Lions.
You're going to go Lions?
I'm going to go Lions.
You got nothing to lose, do you?
No, I really think I really think the Lions are gonna do it. It's gonna be tough for the Chiefs to recover from that.
All right.
That was a hell of a beating.
Chiefs, 20.
Chiefs by 20. The Waratahs taking the Hurricanes. Morgs.
Oh, that's a tough one. Hurricanes, 12.
Pass.
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 Waratahs, 8.
I'm going to go the Hurricanes by 9. The Bulls take on the Cheetahs in Pretoria. Morgs. Derby match.
Oh, that's a big one. I'll go Cheetahs by 15.
Cheetahs by 15. Paulie.
Cheetahs by 12.
Cheetahs by 12.
Bulls 5.
I'm going to go with the Cheetahs by 7. It's a derby match. It's going to be very close. I think issue spot in there. And of course, the match of the weekend, the Stormers take on the Highlanders, playing at Newlands. You can rent for yourself, those set of double tickets. Stormers against the Highlanders. I'm going to go with the Stormers by 5. Morgs.
I never go against the Stormers. Stormers by 10.
Oh, so never going against the Stormers, so the Stormers.
Ish.
Stormers 3.
Stormers by 3. There we go. This is the patriotic camp, folks. There we go. Those are, of course, your Super Brew predictions right here on Cape Rugby TV. Remember, we're going to go out to watch Rangers take on Macassar. Rangers playing at home ground in Surrey Estate. We're looking forward to seeing you on this side of the field and come and join us. Remember, there is a bunch of Friday night games as well, because I believe the Stormers are kicking off at 3 o'clock on Friday. So get down this weekend to your, at least on Saturday, thanks. Get down to your nearest club game this weekend. Come and enjoy club rugby. And remember, the season is not closed for registrations. So if you've got friends and family or whoever out there who want to play rugby, it's not all about winning. It's about coming in and having a gees. So the 3rd team, the 4th team, the 5th team, the 6th team, go and join a club, go and joel. Bring a friend, tell them to come and play because it's going to have a lot of fun there. All right, folks, that's a wrap, of course, of Cape Rugby TV this weekend. We'll see you, Morgs, on Saturday.
Look forward to it, Japes. Thanks for having me again.
Paulie, thanks for joining us and good luck with the Sevens.
No, thanks, Jeff. Yeah, just everyone, this is the one time where there's no time difference, so give the guys a watch, get behind the Blitzwalker this weekend.
Oh yeah, of course, it'll be exactly the same time,
Yeah.
Anish, good luck against Villagers this weekend.
Thanks a lot. All the best to all the clubs out there.
All the best to all of the clubs out there. That's a wrap from us, folks. Have yourself a fantastic rugby weekend. Remember, jump on Twitter and keep those scores posted. Tweet at Cape Rugby TV, at WP Club Rugby, or #WP Club Rugby. That's a wrap. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye.